The morning sun rose over Cape Canaveral like any other day, but Commander David Foster knew this would be the last normal sunrise humanity would ever see. The massive alien ship hanging in orbit made sure of that. "Sir, they're requesting permission to land," said Lieutenant Wilson, his voice steady despite the tension in the control room. "They're choosing the landing pad we offered." David straightened his uniform and took a deep breath. As the commander of Earth's First Contact Division, he'd trained for this moment for 15 years, but no amount of training could have prepared him for the reality of actual aliens. "Tell them they have permission to land," he said. "And get me Dr. Foster on the line." Minutes later, his wife's face appeared on the screen. Dr. Emily Foster, leading expert in neuroscience, looked as tired as he felt. She'd been up all night analyzing the alien signals. "David, something feels off about their brain patterns," she said, running a hand through her short brown hair. "The scans we took of their ship show strange energy readings. It's like they're hungry somehow. We can't delay this meeting, Emily. The whole world is watching." David glanced at the TV screen showing news coverage from around the globe. "Just keep monitoring everything from your lab." The alien ship was beautiful as it descended through the clouds, a spiral of silver and blue that moved like liquid metal. As it landed, a crowd of thousands watched from behind safety barriers, their phones held high to record history. The ship's door opened with a soft hiss. The aliens that emerged looked almost elegant, tall, slender beings with iridescent skin that shifted colors in the sunlight. Their leader, who called itself Ambassador Zix, stepped forward with arms raised in what they had said was a peaceful greeting. "Greetings, people of Earth," it said through a translator device. "We bring you friendship and advancement." David stepped forward to meet them, following the carefully planned protocol. "On behalf of humanity, we welcome you to Earth." The next few hours were a whirlwind of ceremonies and speeches. The aliens promised to share technology, cure diseases, and help humanity reach the stars. World leaders joined video calls, treaties were drafted, and champagne flowed freely in the conference rooms. But in her lab, Emily Foster's concern grew with each new scan. "These readings can't be right," she muttered, checking her equipment again. The neural patterns from the aliens were showing spikes that looked like feeding signals in predator species. She tried calling David, but the celebrations were jamming the communications. In frustration, she ran another scan. And that's when she saw it. Hidden beneath the alien ship was a massive energy collector, and it was starting to power up. "Oh God," she whispered, finally understanding. "They're not here to help us." At that exact moment, in the main conference hall, Ambassador Zix raised its hands for silence. Its skin color shifted to a deep, pulsing red. "You humans are so trusting," it said, its translator now broadcasting in a much colder tone. "So willing to believe in friendship, it makes you perfect livestock." David reached for his sidearm, but found himself frozen in place. A strange field emanated from the aliens, holding everyone immobile. "Your species has something unique," Zix continued. "Your neural energy is exceptionally pure. The Zixtheri Empire will feast well on your world." But the alien's confident speech was interrupted by something unexpected. Dr. Emily Foster, having rushed to the hall, broke through the security doors. The sight of her husband held captive triggered something deep and primal, pure human rage. And for just a moment, the alien's control flickered. Zix stumbled back, its skin flashing chaotic patterns. What is this energy?" it hissed, seeming almost in pain. In that brief moment of weakness, David broke free of the paralysis. His military training took over as he tackled the nearest alien guard. Chaos erupted in the hall as the alien's control wavered under the surge of human emotions. As security forces rushed in and evacuation alarms blared, Emily reached David's side. Their eyes met in understanding. They had just discovered humanity's first weapon against these invaders. The diplomatic first contact had failed, but in its failure, humanity had glimpsed both its greatest threat and its greatest strength. The war for Earth was about to begin. 3 days after the betrayal at Cape Canaveral, Chicago burned. Captain Robert Hayes stood on the broken roof of Willis Tower, watching alien ships tear through the city's skyline. His squad of Marines huddled behind makeshift barriers, their weapons seeming tiny against the massive ships above. "Sir, we got civilians trapped in the subway system," said Private Laura Chen through the radio. "The aliens are trying to break in." Robert gripped his rifle tighter. They had learned the hard way that normal bullets barely scratched the aliens' armor, but they had to try something. "Wilson, Martinez, get the heavy weapons ready," he ordered. "Everyone else, we're heading down. We're not letting them take any more people." The past 3 days had been a nightmare. After the failed first contact, the Scifistories had launched attacks on every major city worldwide. They didn't want to destroy Earth. They wanted to farm it. Humans were being rounded up and had taken to massive collection ships, never to be seen again. Underground, in a secret lab beneath the city, Dr. Lisa Martinez worked frantically. After Dr. Emily Foster's discovery about human emotions affecting the aliens, every surviving scientist had been working to understand why. "Look at these readings," Lisa said to her assistant. She pointed to a screen showing brainwave patterns. "When humans feel strong emotions, especially anger, we produce neural energy that hurts them. It's like our brains become weapons." Above them, the battle for the subway system had begun. Robert's team moved through the dark tunnels, using night vision to spot alien scout parties. The creatures moved like liquid metal in the darkness, their skin reflecting what little light remained. "Remember," Robert whispered to his team, "aim for the spots where their skin changes color. That's where they're weakest." They found the civilians huddled in an old maintenance room. Among them was a small boy clutching a teddy bear. When an alien warrior broke through the door, the boy's fear turned to unexpected anger. "Leave us alone," he shouted, throwing his teddy bear. The alien suddenly staggered back, its skin flashing with disturbed patterns. Robert had seen this before, the same thing that happened at Cape Canaveral. Pure human emotion causing them pain. "Everyone," he shouted to the civilians, "don't be afraid. Be angry. Think about what they've done to our homes." The effect was immediate. As the trapped humans' fear turned to rage, the aliens retreated, their bodies convulsing under the assault of raw human emotion. Back in her lab, Lisa's instruments went crazy. "These readings are off the charts," she exclaimed. Something about the combined emotional output of multiple humans had created a devastating effect on the aliens' neural systems. She grabbed her phone, connecting to the emergency military network. "This is Dr. Martinez. I need to speak to command immediately. I know how we can fight back." Hours later, in a secure bunker, military leaders gathered around Lisa's presentation. She showed them the data, how human emotions, especially strong ones like rage and determination, disrupted the aliens' ability to function. "They feed on neural energy," she explained, "but human emotions are too strong, too chaotic for them to process. It's like trying to drink from a fire hose. We can use this." General Kevin Stone, the highest-ranking survivor of the Pentagon attack, stood up. "How long until we can turn this into a weapon?" "A few days, maybe less," Lisa replied. "We already have the basics. Dr. Foster's original discovery was just the beginning. We can amplify human emotional output and direct it." Outside, the alien ships continued their harvest of Earth. But for the first time since the invasion began, humanity had hope. In their attempt to farm humans for their neural energy, the Scifistories had overlooked something crucial: the sheer power of human emotional strength. As Robert's team led the civilians to safety, they felt something new growing inside them. Not fear, not despair, but a burning determination. Humanity had paid a heavy price for trusting the aliens. Now it was time to make them pay it back. The underground lab in Colorado buzzed with energy as Dr. Lisa Martinez stared at her newest creation. The device looked simple, a metal headband with glowing blue lines running through it. But this small piece of technology would change the war. "Are you sure about this, Doctor?" Lieutenant Jennifer Collins asked, holding the headband carefully. She had helped design the emotional amplifier, but testing it was another matter entirely. "We don't have a choice," Lisa replied, checking the readings one last time. "The aliens took Boston yesterday. We're running out of time." The test chamber was ready. Inside, behind thick glass, sat a captured HFY warrior. The alien's skin shifted between colors, showing its nervousness. It knew something was coming. "Beginning test 1 of the emotional amplifier," Jennifer announced into her recorder. She looked at the volunteer, a soldier named Steve Rogers. "Are you ready?" Steve nodded, putting on the headband. His brother had been taken in the Chicago harvests. He had plenty of anger to share. "Think about what they did," Lisa guided him. "Remember how it felt. Don't hold back." Steve closed his eyes. The headband began to glow brighter. In the test chamber, the alien suddenly screamed. A high, piercing sound that made everyone cover their ears. Its skin turned a violent red, then began to crack. "Power levels are off the charts," Jennifer shouted, watching her instruments. "The neural feedback is 10 times stronger than our estimates." The alien collapsed, its body shaking. When they checked the chamber, they found it completely unconscious, its neural systems overloaded by the amplified human emotions. Word spread quickly through the underground base. General Kevin Stone arrived within the hour to see the results. "How soon can we make more?" he asked, looking at the unconscious alien. "Mass production can start tomorrow," Lisa answered. "But sir, there's something else." During the test, we picked up a signal. The aliens in the ship above us. They felt it too. They're afraid. Above ground, the evidence was clear. The massive harvest ship that had been hovering over Denver suddenly moved higher, as if trying to get away from something. In the command center, radar operators watched in amazement as alien ships began changing their patterns. They were becoming more cautious, less aggressive. "They're running scared," Robert Hayes said, now promoted to major after his success in Chicago. They'd never faced prey that could fight back like this. The first real test came 3 days later. A squad of soldiers, each wearing an emotional amplifier, faced off against an alien patrol in the ruins of Seattle. The result was beyond their wildest hopes. "Squad, focus your anger," Lieutenant Collins shouted, leading the attack. "Remember what they did to Earth." The combined emotional blast hit the aliens like a physical wave. Their formations broke instantly. Some tried to run. Others fell where they stood, their neural systems completely overwhelmed. For the first time, humans watched HFY warriors flee in terror. In her lab, Lisa worked with Jennifer to make the amplifiers even stronger. They discovered that different emotions had different effects. Anger was like a weapon, but determination could shield against alien mental attacks. Fear, human fear turned back against them, could scramble their ship's controls. "We're not just fighting back anymore," Lisa told General Stone during a briefing. "We're turning their greatest weapon, their need for neural energy, into their greatest weakness." The news spread through the resistance worldwide. Humanity had found its strength, hidden in the very thing that had made them targets. Their emotions, once seen as a weakness by the HFY, were becoming their most powerful weapon. As the sun set over the Rocky Mountains, Jennifer watched alien ships retreating from another failed harvest attempt. She touched her amplifier headband and smiled. The hunted were becoming the hunters, and the galaxy was about to learn why you should never corner a human being. The beast of human emotion had awakened, and it was hungry for revenge. Colonel Brian Walsh stood at the edge of the Rocky Mountains, watching the sunrise. Behind him, 500 soldiers adjusted their emotional amplifiers. Each one glowed with a soft blue light in the early morning darkness. "Today, we take back our home," he said into his radio. The alien base ahead of them had been harvesting humans from the western states for 2 months. That would end today. The plan was simple but dangerous. They would use their anger and hate as weapons, just as they had trained. The aliens wouldn't expect an attack. They still thought humans were just food. "All units, report in," Brian ordered. "Alpha team ready." Major Robert Hayes's voice crackled through the radio. "Beta team in position." Lieutenant Jennifer Collins confirmed. "Science team standing by." Dr. Lisa Martinez added from her mobile command center. Brian took a deep breath. Operation Fury begins now. The attack started with a wave of pure emotion. 500 humans, their feelings amplified by technology, focused their rage at the alien base. The effect was instant. The outer guards dropped to their knees, their skin cracking and peeling from the emotional assault. "Move in," Brian shouted. "Don't let up." The soldiers charged forward. Unlike their previous battles, they weren't afraid. Their anger protected them like armor. When alien warriors tried to use their neural weapons, the humans pushed back with memories of destroyed cities and stolen families. Inside her command vehicle, Lisa watched the readings with amazement. "The combined emotional output is higher than anything we've ever recorded," she told Jennifer over the radio. "Their base defenses are failing." The aliens tried to call their ships for help, but something unexpected happened. As the distress calls went out, other alien ships in orbit began to retreat. The sight of humans using emotions as weapons was spreading panic through their fleet. "They're running," a soldier shouted as another harvest ship flowed into the sky. But the real surprise came when they breached the base's central chamber. Inside, they found not just human prisoners, but aliens from other worlds. The Sixtheri had been harvesting neural energy across the galaxy. By all the stars, one alien prisoner whispered in broken English, "You humans, you fight back. Nobody fights back against the Sixtheri." Robert helped free the prisoners while his team secured the base. "Well, we're not just fighting back," he told the alien. "We're winning." The alien looked at him with all four of its eyes wide. "The galaxy must know of this. Others will join you." In the command center, Brian and Jennifer discovered something even more valuable: the aliens' star maps. They showed harvest operations across hundreds of worlds. "Look at these numbers," Jennifer said, studying the screens. Earth was supposed to be their biggest harvest yet. They thought we'd be easy prey. Lisa joined them, carrying new readings. "Every time we use the amplifiers, the effect gets stronger. It's like humanity is learning to focus its emotions naturally. Some soldiers don't even need the devices anymore." Brian studied the star maps. The Sixtheri Empire was huge, spanning multiple galaxies. But now they had their weakness. "Send word to all resistance cells," he ordered. "Tell them what we found here. It's time to take this fight to space." As the sun set over the captured base, humanity celebrated its first major victory. The prisoners were freed, and the aliens' own technology would now serve Earth's defense. An alien ship, captured mostly intact, waited in the base's landing bay. Engineer Amy Patterson was already studying its controls, figuring out how humans could fly it. "Sir," she called to Brian, "these ships, they're powered by neural energy. With our amplifiers, we could fly them better than the aliens ever did." Brian looked at the ship, then at his troops, their amplifiers glowing in the darkness. Humanity had just taken its first step into a larger war. The galaxy would soon learn why Earth's defenders were unlike anything the Sixtheri had ever faced. The counterattack had begun, and this was just the beginning. The news spread through the galaxy like wildfire. Humans had not only resisted the Sixtheri, they had driven them back. On 1,000 worlds, enslaved species watched broadcasts of Earth's victories with growing hope. Engineer Amy Patterson stood in her new workshop, surrounded by captured alien technology. The stolen ship they'd taken from the Rocky Mountain base had taught them so much. Now she was building something new. "The emotional amplifier cores are stable," she told Dr. Lisa Martinez, pointing to the glowing blue engine in front of them. "We can use human emotions to power our own ships now." The prototype vessel sat in the underground hangar, sleek and deadly. Unlike the organic-looking alien ships, this one was pure human design, angular, armored, and built for war. Its heart was a chamber where human rage could be turned into pure energy. "How many can we build?" General Kevin Stone asked, inspecting the ship. "With the factories in Denver and Chicago running, 20 by the end of the month. Hundreds more after that." Meanwhile, across the galaxy, the Galactic Council was meeting for the first time in a century. The council chamber was filled with representatives from the oldest species in the galaxy. They had ignored the Scifistories harvesting for too long, and now something had changed. "These humans," spoke the ancient Vorkath representative, "they do not just resist. They push back. They turn their very feelings into weapons." Images of Earth's battles played above the council table. Humans, their eyes glowing with amplified emotion, driving back the harvesters, ships fleeing from the mere presence of human vessels. "The balance of power shifts," said another counselor. "The Scifistory Empire bleeds." Back on Earth, the first human fleet was taking shape. Amy walked through the hangar, watching crews install emotional amplifier cores in ship after ship. Each vessel was named after a lost city: Chicago, Boston, London, Tokyo. "The neural networks are different from regular engines," she explained to the pilot crews. "You don't just drive these ships, you feel them. Your emotions give them power." In her lab, Lisa studied reports from across the galaxy. Other species were reaching out to Earth, offering help, seeking protection. The Scifistory had made many enemies over the millennia. "Look at this," she told Jennifer Collins, pointing to a message. 3 worlds have already risen up against their harvester bases. They saw what we did and found their courage." The Scifistory were not taking this quietly. Their main fleet was gathering, preparing to crush the human rebellion before it could spread further. But they had waited too long. "Let them come," said Captain Rachel Duncan, standing on the bridge of the Earth's first warship, the Defiant. "We're not afraid anymore." And that's what terrifies them. The ship's emotional amplifier core hummed with power. The whole crew's determination and anger fed into it, making the ship more than just metal and engines. It was humanity's fury given form. In the Galactic Council, debates rage. Should they intervene? Help the humans? Stop them? Some feared that if humanity won, they would become what they fought against. "You don't understand," said a freed slave speaking to the council. "Humans don't want to rule. They want justice. And they're willing to burn down the galaxy to get it." Amy stood in her workshop late that night, making final adjustments to the newest ship. She thought about everything that had happened: the invasion, the harvests, the discovery of their power, and now this leap to the stars. "We're ready," she told General Stone when he came to check on progress. "The fleet can launch whenever you give the word." The general looked at the ships, each one powered by human emotion, each one a testament to humanity's refusal to be prey. "Send the message to all commands," he ordered. "Operation Starfire begins at dawn." Across the galaxy, species held their breath. Humanity was coming, and they would either be salvation or judgment, depending on which side you were on. The ripples of Earth's resistance were about to become a tidal wave. Captain Rachel Duncan watched from the bridge of the Defiant as her fleet emerged from Earth's atmosphere. 50 ships, each powered by human emotion, each carrying crews who had lost everything to the Scifistory. Now it was time for payback. "All ships report ready," her first officer said. Emotional amplifier cores at full power. Rachel touched her command chair, feeling the ship respond to her determination. These new vessels weren't just machines, they were extensions of human will. "Send the message to all ships," she ordered. "Operation Starfire is go. Find their harvest bases. Free the prisoners. Show no mercy to any Scifistory who resist." The human fleet split into 5 groups, each targeting different sectors of space. The Scifistory had spread themselves thin, never expecting to fight a war on so many fronts. On the first world they reached, something unexpected happened. As soon as the human ships appeared in orbit, the harvester ships fled. They didn't even try to fight. They're running. A young officer asked in surprise. They know what we are now, Rachel explained. The whole galaxy has heard about Earth, about what we can do. News of the human fleet spread faster than light itself. On every world they approached, the story was the same. The mere sight of Earth ships sent the Scifistories into panic. This is the human liberation fleet, Rachel broadcast to each world they freed. Your harvesters are gone. You are free. In the Scifistories Empire's capital, their leaders faced a crisis. Reports came in from every sector. Their forces were retreating, their harvest bases were falling, and their once feared ships fled at the first sign of human vessels. How do we stop them? Demanded the Scifistories Emperor. They're just primitive humans. That's why we can't stop them, his general replied. We made them into weapons. Every human we took, every city we destroyed. It only made them stronger. The empire began to crack. Worlds they had ruled for centuries rose up in rebellion. Other alien species, seeing the Scifistories' weakness, began to attack their borders. Back on the Defiant, Rachel received a message from Earth. Engineer Amy Patterson had completed a new weapon, the Fury Cannon. It could focus the emotional energy of an entire crew into a single blast. Test firing Fury Cannon, Rachel announced as they approached a Scifistories military base. The entire crew focused their anger, their pain, their determination into the ship's systems. The cannon glowed bright blue, then fired. The blast didn't just destroy the base. It shattered the Scifistories' neural networks for light years around. Send the recording to all ships, Rachel ordered. Show everyone what we can do now. The effect on the war was immediate. Whole fleets of Scifistories ships surrendered rather than face the human vessels. Their empire, built on harvesting the neural energy of others, was being torn apart by the very emotions they had tried to feed on. Captain, her communications officer called out, "We're getting messages from other species. They want to join us. They want to learn how to fight back." Rachel looked at the star map showing their progress. In just 2 weeks, humanity had freed 30 worlds. The Scifistories Empire was falling apart faster than anyone had expected. "Send word to Earth," she ordered. "Tell them to prepare for allies. The galaxy is changing." In her private log that night, Rachel wrote, "They called us livestock. They thought we were food, but they never understood what humans really are. We're not prey that learned to fight back. We're predators who had been sleeping. And now we're awake." The Defiant's emotional core pulsed with power as they set course for their next target. Across the galaxy, other human ships did the same. The hunters had become the hunted, and the Scifistories were about to learn the full price of their invasion. The galaxy watched in awe as humanity's fury swept through the stars like wildfire. And this was just the beginning. Admiral Daniel Wright stood on the bridge of the Earth flagship Justice, leading the largest fleet ever assembled in human history. 300 ships surrounded Earth, their emotional amplifier cores glowing like blue stars. Today would end the war. "The Scifistories Emperor is coming," his second-in-command reported. Their entire remaining fleet, over 500 ships. Daniel nodded calmly. "Send word to all ships. Remember what they did to Earth. Remember everyone we lost. Today we finish this." The Scifistories fleet appeared in a flash of light, organic-looking vessels that had once terrified humanity. But now they seemed smaller, weaker. The hunters had lost their fangs. "This is Admiral Wright to all ships," he broadcast. "For Earth." The battle began. Human ships moved with incredible speed, powered by the pure emotions of their crews. The Fury cannons fired, each blast carrying the concentrated anger of entire crews. Scifistories ships exploded or flowed in panic. On the Justice's bridge, engineer Amy Patterson monitored the new weapons she had created. "The emotional output is beyond anything we've ever seen," she reported. "Every human in the fleet is connected, feeding power to each other. The Zixtheri Emperor's voice boomed across space. "Stop this madness. We offer peace. Like the peace you offered Earth," Daniel replied. His voice was calm, but carried the weight of humanity's rage. "You wanted our neural energy. Here it is. All of it." He gave the signal. Every ship in the human fleet activated their emotional amplifiers at full power. The combined force of 300 crews' fury hit the alien fleet like a tidal wave. Zixtheri ships began to break apart as their neural networks overloaded. Their crews couldn't handle the raw power of human emotion. The Emperor's massive ship tried to retreat, but found itself surrounded. Dr. Lisa Martinez, watching from Earth's command center, saw her instruments spike. "The emotional feedback is creating a chain reaction," she said in awe. "Their entire neural network is collapsing." The Emperor's ship exploded in a flash of light. The remaining Zixtheri fleet scattered in terror, but the human ships hunted them down one by one. No mercy, no escape. When the last enemy ship vanished or fell, silence filled space. Daniel looked at the battle display and allowed himself a small smile. "Send word to Earth. The war is over. We won." The news spread across the galaxy at light speed. The impossible had happened. A primitive species, meant to be livestock, had destroyed the greatest empire in known space. In the days that followed, representatives from 100 alien worlds came to Earth. They wanted to learn from humanity, to understand how emotions could become such power. "We don't want your empire," Daniel told them in the first Galactic Council held on Earth. "We want justice. We want peace, but never mistake that for weakness." Amy Patterson and Lisa Martinez shared their technology with other species, teaching them to defend themselves. But everyone knew the truth. No one could match humanity's emotional strength. "What will you do now?" an alien ambassador asked Daniel. He looked out at the stars through the council chamber's window. "We'll rebuild Earth. We'll help others rebuild their worlds. And we'll make sure nothing like the Zixtheri ever threatens anyone again." The galaxy had changed forever. The oldest species now looked to Earth with respect and fear. Human ships patrolled trade routes, protecting weaker worlds. Their reputation grew. "Don't anger the humans. Don't threaten what they protect. Their fury is unstoppable." In the ruins of Chicago, now being rebuilt, a small memorial stood. It listed the names of cities lost, lives taken. Below them were written words that would be remembered across the stars. "They came to harvest our emotions. They learned too late that human feelings are not food. They are fire. And our fury burned their empire to ash." The war was over. Humanity had awakened to its true power. And the galaxy would never forget that the species they once saw as prey had become the most feared force among the stars.